In October of this year, a blizzard hit Mount Everest, leaving over 1,000 people stranded. The storm came out of nowhere. Winds were over 100 miles per hour, temperatures dropping below -40. Climbers ran out of oxygen, guides vanished, and rescuers could not reach them. What was supposed to be the climb of a lifetime turned into a fight for survival. And honestly, this wasn't just some freak accident. It's part of a much bigger and much darker truth about Mount Everest itself. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Corner of Curiosity. Today we're talking about one of the most extreme and most haunting places on Earth, Mount Everest. It's the tallest mountain in the world, a symbol of human ambition and a place where hundreds of climbers have died trying to reach the top. As of 2024, over 340 people have lost their lives there, and more than 200 of them are still on the mountain, frozen in place. So why do people keep climbing it, even knowing the risks? And what really happens up there, and what is often called the death zone. So yes, today we're talking about Mount Everest, which seems kind of weird for my channel. I was doom scrolling on TikTok the other day, and I saw people starting to talk about Mount Everest and how it's a place to hike. Like, I'm not a hiker whatsoever. I am not. I live in the South, so like we don't really have a lot of mountains here, but I have always been curious on why people want to climb mountains and hike, especially Mount Everest, like one of the highest places in the world. Why do people want to join? And I really learned a lot. Like, it costs a lot of money to do it. You have to pay a lot of money. It takes a long time. Like, I thought Mount Everest took like 2 or 3 days. No, it takes a long time, which we're gonna get into that today. But there's just a lot of eerie stuff that happens on Mount Everest, and I cannot imagine that there's like some paranormal or some type of creature lore there as well. I didn't really get into that in the script, but I just thought it was really interesting because it was major news that happened, so I wanted to talk about it today. But Mount Everest isn't just a random mountain. It's like the ultimate challenge for people. For a lot of climbers, reaching the summit is like touching the edge of heaven, or like the edge of the world. It's one of the most sought after things if you're a really true like climber and adventurous and you really like to be on the edge. I feel like Mount Everest is a place where you'd want to go.
It's crazy to me about all this Mount Everest discourse is like, my uncle went to do a story on Mount Everest. Like, he's a journalist and he went to base camp, and I don't really remember the details of it because it was like literally like decades ago, but I do remember that he said that it totally sucked. Like, it just being at base camp sucked. And I always think about that one vegan girl who was like, I'm gonna prove that veganism is like the way, that it's like as healthy as any other diet. And I'm not even saying there's anything wrong with being a vegan, but I am saying that I think it's crazy that you think you can climb Mount Everest as a vegan. She died on Mount Everest, I'm not trying to like clown her or anything like that. Like, that's still, tragic that somebody died. But I will say that it kind of feels to me like if I decided to take up gymnastics, like, I can't bend a third of my body because my spine is metal. I'm not supposed to be doing backflips. That's just like not where I'm supposed to be. And like with the Sherpas on Mount Everest, like, first of all, they are totally being taken advantage of. It's like a terrible system over there. But also, they evolved separately from everybody else. Like, they literally don't experience miscarriages due to the high altitude. And traditionally, if somebody's exposed to that level of altitude, they're at a way higher risk of miscarriage. And they've evolved divergently so that they can reproduce and continue to repopulate despite the fact that they're in really high altitude. So like, anybody but them is just straight up not supposed to be there. Like, they had to go through a whole genetic process to even continue to be there. So like, I don't know. I just feel like run a marathon or something. Like, there's just other stuff to do for attention.
Some people just want to prove it to themselves that they can climb a really, really tall mountain, or they just want to feel like they're on top of the world. And honestly, social media, places like TikTok, Instagram, things like that have made it worse for people thinking that this is something that they need to achieve or something. You see a lot of people posting pictures and videos of like their month-long journey, basically, of climbing to the top of Mount Everest. But they don't really talk about the dead people you see on the mountain, the sickness that you can get from being on the mountain. Like, your body has to acclimate. That's why you start at base camp and then you make your way up to the mountain, because if you just went straight up and like tried to just do it all in one shot, you would die, because there's your body has to adjust to that level. The oxygen is very, very thin, and every step feels like you're gonna die because your body is not meant to be walking up a mountain like that. So let's talk about what the anatomy of the mountain is, or how the mountain is really formed. So Mount Everest sits a little under 30,000 feet altitude. That's comparable to like the altitude of a commercial plane flying in the sky. There are two main routes: the southeastern ridge from Nepal and the north ridge from Tibet. Climbers usually spend about 6 to 8 weeks on the mountain, moving up and down between camps to let their bodies adjust to the altitude. So like I was saying, I really assumed that Mount Everest could be climbed in like maybe a week. It takes 6 to 8 weeks, so almost 2 months for you to climb this huge mountain. I saw footage of people like there are lines up the mountain. Like, you have to wait your turn to get up there. It's not just like you're one with nature and you're like exploring this major mountain and stuff. No, you're literally like waiting in line, going up this big mountain with all these people you don't know. We're going to get into the Sherpas as well, because that's something else I learned is like, you're not just doing this by yourself. You're paying people money to help you climb this mountain, which that's another ethical thing I don't really understand. Base camp sits around 17,600 feet. It's like a little city of tents that people camp out to really like prepare their body for this. And then there's the Kumba ice fall, which is one of the deadliest parts of the climb, and it's constantly shuffling. It's a constantly shuffling maze of ice, crevices that open up without warning, towers of ice that can collapse at any second. Yeah, I did see a clip where literally a chunk of ice fell off the mountain while people were walking up the mountain, like just fell. After that, climbers move through a series of camps, inching higher and higher until they reach Camp 4, which is also known as South Col. From there, that is when they'll enter the death zone, which everything above that is 26,000 feet altitude. In the death zone, the air pressure is so low that your body literally can't get enough oxygen to survive for long. Your brain swells, your lungs fill with fluid, and your muscles stop responding. Up there, even resting is dangerous. Now we're going to talk about the Sherpas and like the ethical side of going to Mount Everest, because I didn't realize how much of a ethical dilemma this is for a lot of people. Like, first of all, I feel like it's really selfish. First of all, I think it's really selfish if you want to climb Mount Everest, especially if you're, I don't know what the word is, what the demographic of person is who's climbing Mount Everest, but I'm assuming they are a person who might have a family, because you're older. You have to have between $16,000 to $100,000 to climb Mount Everest, depending on what luxuries you want. So that, first of all, it's a lot of money, so you have to be rich. Second of all, it's a lot of time. You're going to be, out of work, away from your family, away from your loved ones for up to 2 months, probably even longer, because you probably want to like prepare your body in some way to like train to be on this mountain. Like, you can't just get up one day and climb Mount Everest. You have to prepare your body, so you're going to be working out consistently, diving deep into like all the gear you have to buy to climb Mount Everest. Like, people are decking out money for this, and I just feel like it's really selfish, especially if you have a family. You're going to have to be away from them for so long. I just feel like it's not the best idea of fun to me. I just don't think it sounds like a fun thing to do in the first place. Second of all, we have to get into the Sherpas, which I didn't really know about this. Sherpas are indigenous people to the Himalayas and have been guiding the climbers for decades, setting ropes, carrying gear, fixing ladders, and managing the dangerous routes long before most people can even arrive.
Did you know that Sherpas, an ethnic group of people from the mountain regions of Nepal who guide climbers to Mount Everest's summit year after year, are, in a word, superhuman? The average human is simply not meant to function at the 29,029 feet above sea level heights of Everest's peak, where your body has to work much, much harder to function due to low oxygen levels. But Sherpas, who have lived in the high Himalayas for at least 6,000 years, have evolved to have stronger blood flow, more efficient use of oxygen, better fat-burning capacity, steadier muscle energy reserves, and lower levels of chemicals that are formed due to a lack of oxygen. In a way, they were literally made to climb Mount Everest, making them the perfect companions on the journey to the top.
Their bodies are literally built for the mountain. Like, basically generations of them living in these higher altitudes mean that they can process oxygen better than almost anyone else on Earth. So these people, from evolution and just living on the mountain for years and years and years, their bodies are well adjusted to climbing. So it's really, really sad, because these Sherpas I don't really think they make a lot of money, because from the TikToks and stuff I was looking up, the Sherpas are a part of this like business, and the businesses are what make the money from people paying like $100,000 just to climb the mountain. And then the Sherpas get paid some of that money based on if they help or not. That's what I'm assuming it's like. It's really sad, because I saw videos of the Sherpas like carrying big behind backpacks, like taller than them, backpacks full of people's crap up the mountain. And it's like, can you even say you really climbed the mountain if you didn't take all your personal stuff with you? You're just like, yeah, I paid $100,000, take my stuff, I'm gonna just walk up the mountain beside you. Like, and then I saw another of a lady talking about how there was an instance where a Sherpa was walking with someone, and this lady wanted to beat her time up the mountain, which that's a weird concept too, like beating your time like it's a marathon. This is a marathon. You're going up this huge behind mountain where you have to go to different camps throughout the mountain. That didn't really make sense to me, but it's like really scary. Like, I don't know why. I don't know. Yeah, so I just really thought it sucked how the Sherpas don't really get that much credit for the amazing human beings that they are by taking people's stuff, already being like genetically made for climbing up these mountains already, and now you're having to deal with these like tourists and people from around the world that just want to climb up here just to say they did it. Like, I feel like they don't really get that much credit. The cost of a climb is very, very expensive. Depending on who you go with and what luxuries or package you want to do, it can cost in between $33,000 to $160,000 to climb. A budget climb could get you like sharing a Sherpa with someone, basic tents, and minimum oxygen, because I do think people take oxygen tanks with them, like, because the oxygen like thins out, so you're gonna have to make sure you're accommodated for that. You could pay for luxury camps too, which could include like heated tents, Wi-Fi at base camp. But why would you want to be on like out of all the places you would need Wi-Fi, why would you need it on Mount Everest? Then that makes Mount Everest become a business, a luxury adventure for people who just want to chase danger. But like I was saying, if you're paying $160,000, first of all, then somebody else is carrying your stuff up there for you. You're not even carrying it yourself. And you need Wi-Fi. Like, are you even really climbing the mountain? Like, are you even really, like, can you even consider yourself a mountain climber? And I know I don't have that much room to talk because I've hiked. I've walked in the forest a couple of times, but like, I'm not a hiker whatsoever, so like I don't really have that much room to talk. But personally, I'm like, why? I just don't really get why people do this. maybe it's me. I don't have a lot of money, so maybe it's just me. Now we can talk about the history of Mount Everest, because there are a lot of cases of people, getting lost, not making their way back down, things like that. So I think one of the first cases would be two British mountaineers in 1924 named George Mallory and Andrew Irvine. They set out on an expedition that could have changed history. They were determined to be the first people to stand on the world's highest peak, long before anyone had oxygen tanks that actually worked or weather forecasts that could be trusted. On June 8th, they were last seen by another climber right on the mountain north ridge, just a few hundred meters above the summit, and then they vanished in the clouds. No radio, no signal, just silence. For decades, the disappearance became one of the greatest mysteries in mountaineering. Had they made it to the top before they fell, or did the mountain stop them just short of glory? Then, in 1999, an expedition searching for the remains made a chilling discovery. George Mallory's body was found, remarkably preserved from ice, face down, arms outstretched as if he was still reaching for the summit. The rope around his waist was snapped, hinting that he and Irvine were likely tied together when they fell. Skin was pale and ghost-like, his clothes tattered but recognizable. That's another note. When you're on Mount Everest, no one can save you. So it's really, really sad, but I saw a clip of a lady falling off the mountain and nobody could save her. Like, when you're up on the mountain, you're already expending so much energy and so much work to just walk up there. So God forbid somebody falls or lands the wrong way. You can't go back and save them because you're already making your way up there. You can't use your energy to turn around, try to save them, and keep going. You literally have to just watch somebody die in front of you if you want to make it up the mountain. Which I don't know how people can just go and do that and just not think about, like, you might see somebody die in front of you while you're walking up this mountain. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. People say that it might hold proof that Mallory and Irvine actually reached the top of the summit nearly 30 years before Edmund Hillary and Tinnin's Norway officially did in 1953, which they were the first people to reach the top of the mountain. But cases like this just show, like, the uncertainty. Like, there are probably millions and millions, not millions, there's probably hundreds of cases, people saying they're going to Mount Everest and then never returning home because the mountain is so dangerous. And I think it says something about human beings in general just wanting to go above and beyond and wanting to always push their limit and explore the unknown. But maybe the unknown is okay to not be explored sometimes, because, even I like to, well, I do not like to be very adventurous when it comes to certain things, like my life. I'm not really adrenaline junkie like that, but I see how somebody who would want to do this. Now, the death zone, which we mentioned earlier, which is above 8,000 meters, that is really when people are on their own. If someone collapses in the death zone, there's almost nothing anyone can do. The air is too thin, everyone's running low on oxygen, and the helicopters can't fly that high. That's why so many bodies are still there, frozen in place for decades. There's one body known as Green Boots, believed to be an Indian climber named Tisweg Pajor. His body lies in a small cave right beside the main path to the summit. Every climber who passes that way has to step over him. Others have nicknames like Sleeping Beauty or Rainbow Valley for their bright jackets of those who never made it back down. It's disturbing, but it's also a brutal reminder up here surviving could be seen as a privilege. Even experienced climbers sometimes have to leave teammates behind because carrying someone down means you might die too. And while I was researching, a lot of people were saying that the green boots individual, this person is seen as like a marker that you're making it through the mountain, which is really, really sad. It's just really cruel, like really, really cruel that people are just up there. Like they can't save them, they can't get them back down because it's unsafe for you to do so. Hundreds of people are just walking past these bodies just like they're nothing because they can't do anything. They have to keep going. Now we gotta talk about how overcrowded Mount Everest is. Like, I'm telling you, I will insert clips while I'm talking, but there are so many people in line waiting to get to the top of this mountain. It's crazy. Every spring, about 600 to 700 climbers attempt Mount Everest. They wait the same time. All wait at the same narrow window of good weather in May. So when the conditions line up, everyone goes at once, creating literal traffic jams in the death zone. In 2019, hundreds of climbers were stuck in line near the summit for hours. Oxygen tanks ran out, frostbite set in, some died just waiting for their turn. And then in October of this year, 2025, a sudden blizzard hit. More than 1,000 people on the mountain. Visibility dropped to 0. Communication failed and team rescues couldn't reach them for days. I saw a lot of TikToks go viral at this time. That's when the whole topic of Mount Everest came up in the first place because people were stranded up there during the blizzard. When you see clips of people up there, it's very, very jarring because I never think about Mount Everest, and to see people walk up there, I saw this one girl's face was like all scabbed up from the weather because it's freezing cold, so like you can't keep moisture in your skin when it's that cold. I could not understand why she would want to do something like that, but hey, yuck, you're yum, you know? If you like it, I love it, I guess. This made me start thinking about, why do people want to go back? Like, there are people who have done it multiple times. Like, either they don't make it the first time, they want to do it again, they want to beat their time, like, they just want to keep going back and back for what? But I think like it goes back to like just being a human being in general. People want to feel a sense of purpose and they want to feel a sense of hope, and I guess them climbing the mountain can prove something to themselves. It shows them that the world is bigger than just themselves. It could seem like some type of adrenaline rush getting up there, which I could definitely imagine it is. It may feel like you're conquering something, like you're doing something bigger than yourself. I think that's really the main gist of it, is like just seeing the world from a different perspective. Like, you're literally on top of one of the highest points in the world. So I can see it from that angle. Would I ever do it? No. I'll go skiing. You know, I've been in some snow nowadays, but like, that's probably as far as it's going to go for me. But I really just wanted to make this video because I was very intrigued on why people want to go to Mount Everest so bad. And second of all, like, I didn't realize how controversial it was, because I thought it was just like a couple of people a year ago. Not hundreds and hundreds of people are paying thousands and thousands of dollars on top of these Sherpas who are carrying all their crap for them in the first place. So it's not even like they're really doing it themselves. And I just really thought it was an interesting video, an interesting topic to cover. But yeah, that's really all I have for this video. I hope you guys liked it. Let me know, would you ever climb Mount Everest? Is there a snow emoji? Is there a mountain emoji? Leave a mountain emoji in the comments of the video podcast and the audio version if you're listening. Just let me know what you think, because it was really weird seeing those videos. But I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!